Superstition. It's like herpes. Once you get it, you can never get rid of it. And just like herpes, alternative medicine is not gonna cure it. Hello, you absolute legends, and welcome back to Creating. In today's video, we are going to talk about 3 scams that personally make my blood boil. We'd focus on alternative medicine today. In my personal life, I don't know of a single person who has not tried one form of alternative medicine or another. And let me be perfectly clear about something right off the bat. I'm not someone who is saying all alternative medicine is hogwash. Treatments that stand clinical trials, double-blind, randomized controlled studies, and peer reviews are what I would put my faith in. Although faith is not really needed at that point. Are there any alternative treatments that stand on those criteria? We'd talk about that at the end of this video. Right now, let's jump right ahead with one of the most prevalent scams in medicine. Homeopathy. Surprisingly not the worst idea to have come out of Germany. This is the founder of homeopathy, Samuel Hahnemann. No, it's not, but who really cares? Homeopathy was developed in the late 18th century by Samuel Hahnemann, who was actually a doctor, which is more than you can say about homeopaths today. Homeopathy has been unable to establish itself as more effective than a placebo for anything really in clinical trials. I mention treatment for anything because people tend to think of a branch of medicine as if it's a monolith. Either it all works or it doesn't. But different treatments based on the same principles need to be tested for the diseases they claim to cure. It's not like all proposed treatments in modern medicine work. We design trials to establish their efficacy. But with something like homeopathy, even the underlying principles are either unproven, disproven, or unprovable. For example, the law of similia, which states that like cures like. That is, if you're suffering with an ailment, it can be cured by something that causes similar symptoms. For example, insomnia can be cured by coffee. This is supposed to work in conjunction with other laws like the law of minimum, which refers to a dilution process that is called potentization in homeopathy. The more you dilute a substance, the more potent it apparently becomes. Homeopathic remedies are diluted to a point that often not even a single molecule of the original substance remains in the final product, which means it's chemically indistinguishable from water, much like American beer. Homeopathy was created at a time when mainstream medicine was full of insane practices like bloodletting, in which a physician would drain a patient's blood in hopes of curing a disease, or practices like purging, which used vomiting, diuretics, and laxatives to clear the stomach after a binge. We know now that these practices were actively harmful as treatments for most of the conditions they were employed for. Doing literally nothing would have been better, and that is what homeopathy excels at. Really, if homeopathy were any worse at its job, people would call it a politician. I would leave links about my sources in the description if you'd like to read more about it, which I highly recommend that you do. Now, before we move on to my next entry, I'd like to say that in my videos, I try to foster critical thinking and innovation. My main goal is to make videos where I build something like this smart ruler that I recently made, or this project where I'm trying to improve on some 3D printing techniques, which is also my best performing video yet. If you'd like to check them out, you can click on the I button. But since good projects take time, I'd have to make smaller videos such as this one in between, where I talk about science, technology, and everything nice. In an effort to bring you original content, I try to do everything from the graphics to the animations and even the music myself. So if you'd like to support my efforts, I have recently started a Patreon page. The link is in the description and also on your screen. But the easiest way to support me would be to throw a like for the algorithm and subscribe to not miss out future content. Reiki. It is a type of energy healing started by Mikao Usui in 20th century Japan. According to practitioners, energy can stagnate in the body where there has been physical injury or even emotional pain. A Reiki healer claims to fix the flow of energy in your body by the transfer of universal energy from the practitioner's palms to the client. It's basically what would happen if Goku wanted to be a doctor. Trying to cure something with Reiki is like trying to close the door with your mind. And I know you've tried it, Jack. Don't lie to me, you wannabe Jedi. But at least you have one thing in compliance with the Jedi code. you die a virgin. Much like homeopathy, Reiki also has different principles and techniques, for example, centering, clearing, beaming, and a bunch of other quackery which, just like your daydreams, Jignesh, has no basis in reality. Yes, I'm talking to you, Jignesh. As is obvious, and like other techniques on this list, Reiki has not been able to establish itself in any scientific studies or trials. Naturopathy. A system of alternative medicine so bad that I tried to write jokes about it and even they don't work. Naturopathy is based on the theory that diseases can be successfully treated or prevented without the use of drugs, by techniques such as control of diet, exercise, and massage. Now, on a serious note, a good diet and ample exercise are key to a healthy life, but unfortunately diseases happen, even to those with the most healthy lifestyles. The problem with naturopathy is that it associates and promotes other unproven, disproven, and controversial alternative medical treatments, such as essential oils. Now, proponents of essential oils claim oils as a cure for everything, much like America. I can put my faith behind the underlying philosophy of naturopathy, that true health is an active process, not a passive process. But believing the actual word of naturopathy, that it can all be solved with proper diet and exercise, is just wishful thinking. The chances of naturopathy working are the same as you making it out of friend zone, Jared. Please stop. Naturopathic treatments range from outright quackery like homeopathy to widely accepted practices such as psychotherapy. That is actually my biggest problem with naturopathy. It puts actual provable medicine on the same field as quackery and as a result makes them seem like the same. I had said I would talk a little bit about alternative medicine that does hold up under scientific study. Honestly, the evidence is scant, but practices such as acupuncture have shown some benefits in pain relief that even the NIH in US is actually beginning to recognize. That being said, you might have realized that it's really difficult to conduct double-blind studies in acupuncture, and also, just because a treatment for something works, it does not mean that the underlying principles are sound and accepted. For example, Ayurveda in India. There have been some good studies where certain medications introduced by Ayurveda have undergone repeatable trials and shown themselves to be effective, like ashwagandha for anxiety. But again, the underlying principles are outdated and need updating. Ayurvedic surgeons were some of the earliest surgeons in the world. Sushruta, an Ayurvedic surgeon, is widely regarded as the father of surgery. Now, this might be confusing as to how can someone question the principles if the end result is effective. But you need to understand something very clearly here. The end result is proven effective for some particular ailments for which it is being tested. That doesn't mean all of the treatments under that system of medicine get a free pass. Correlation is not causation. For example, Dmitry Mendeleev gave us the periodic table. He arranged elements in order of their atomic weights and found a repeating pattern of properties. That did work for a lot of the elements, but not for all of them. Atomic weight had a correlation with the periodicity, but it wasn't the cause. The cause was the atomic number. While path breaking when it was introduced, and our best guess at the time, it would be outdated to start classifying elements by their atomic weight today. That is how I personally see Ayurveda as well, in a dire need of updating and rigorous scientific testing. That being said, I am in no way endorsing acupuncture or Ayurveda. If I have a pain, I'd go to a doctor and not an acupuncturist, because it might not have been disproven, but it's also not proven yet. Basically, it's a system of medicine only as much as I'm a YouTuber. You'd find quacks aplenty claiming to cure COVID or even cancer with Ayurveda as well, and I'd steer miles away from them too. And that has brought us to the end of yet another video. On the screen you can see my Instagram handle and also my Patreon page. If you've liked my work, you can consider supporting me on Patreon. Otherwise, if you liked the video, you know what to do. If you didn't, the other one is fine. And oh boy, am I gonna get dislikes today. If I did get something wrong, you can leave a comment and I would issue corrections in my future videos. Subscribe to my channel if you like watching my ugly mug for some reason. And until next time, just keep building.